Hello folks, welcome back. Okay, in the last video we were able to add another view controller to our storyboard as well. We made a custom class to handle that view controller. So we're going to be working on that custom class quite a bit a little bit later, but first we have to allow ourselves a way to get to this view controller. If you'll see up here, I have a warning, and that's because the system is saying you have a view controller, but you have no method to get to it. So in our little app here, we're going to give ourselves two ways to navigate from the table view screen to this detailed view. The user can either click Add to add a brand new to-do, or they can click on a pre-existing to-do to edit that pre-existing to-do. The way we do this in iOS is something called a segue. So the way we make a segue is we control click on a button and we drag to where we want it to go. And we'll get the types of segues that we want. Now, if you think about it, an ad segue should be, the ad screen should be the end of the line. In other words, you should have to complete the ad before you can go deeper into the app. So what we're going to do here is we're going to present this modally. Meaning you can't go any further than this screen until you save it or you cancel it. Now, we are going to allow ourselves multiple ways to get to this view. So we're going to click on the segue. We're going to go up here and we're going to give the segue a name. And I'm going to call it Add Segue. So by giving it an identifier in the code, I'll be able to know why I arrived at this screen. Did I arrive because of an ad, or did I arrive because of something else? So we have our first segue, but how else could we get from the table view to the detail view? Well, we could go from the cell. So let's control click from the cell over to the view. Again, we get another pop-up to add a segue. Notice we have more stuff down here. We'll talk about that in later videos. But for now, we're going to present this modally as well. So now we have two methods to get from this view to this view. One by clicking the add and one by clicking the cell. So let's make sure we give our second one an appropriate identifier, and I'll call this Edit Segue. Now, right now, even though there's a navigation view controllers don't extend onto modal views. So we have to give some way to get back from this view once we're finished with it. Like I said, we're going to do lots of work with this, but let's just make something simple for now. So down in my objects, I'm going to just make a button. And I'm going to drag the button and I'm going to put it down here at the bottom left-hand corner using the blue guides. Now, we are going to talk more in the next video, but I want to make sure this button doesn't move around. So I'm going to control click towards the outside guide, and I'm going to say leading space. And I'm going to control click towards the bottom guide, and I'm going to say vertical spacing. This is something called an auto layout, and it allows us to nail or position things in very specific places. I'm going to make this into a cancel button. And before we go too long, I need this cancel button to do something. So who remembers how we did that? The way we did that is we went into the assistant editor. Now, notice in the assistant editor, I got the wrong view controller. I should have gotten the add and edit controller, so let's go get that one. So, right now I have my add and edit controller, and I simply want to add an action to this cancel. The first thing I'm going to do here, though, is just erase some of this unneeded code. So, how do we add an action to a button? Well, we control-click it into the code. We have the option of making it an outlet or an action, so I'm going to make it an action. I'm going to call it do cancel. Do cancel. And we're going to have the type be the button, the UI button, and there's the method. So this method will get called whenever I click the cancel button. All we want to do is get rid of the current view controller and go back to where we were. So essentially we want to dismiss this view controller and re-show the table view. So let's go ahead and just call dismiss. We're going to dismiss and we're going to use a animation, and we won't have a completion. So there we go. We've set up our new view controller. We've set up 2 segues and we've added a little bit of code. So let's try this out and see what we get. So we're starting it up and we're going to go into the code. So the first thing I'm going to try when the code boots is I'm going to try a regular add. Oops. So, for some reason I got a failure there. Let's see what happens. Okay, there we go. So, if I click add, I get this screen and I can cancel it. If I do quick add, I can add a new to-do. I can click on that to-do and I get the screen. Notice I haven't put any data on this new screen yet. We'll be doing that in the next video. But essentially now we can move, or we can segue from our table view to our add and edit details view. And we'll talk more about that in the next video. Thank you very much. See you soon.